Hello, welcome. My name is Boey Wang. I'm a designer based in Eindhoven, Netherlands. Today I'm going to present a project which is in a theme called Design with Haptic Sense. So first I'm going to introduce myself. I'm a recent graduate from Design Academy, Eindhoven, 2020, and I'm a product designer and a comic artist at the same time. So basically making objects is always combining with narrations and storytellings. So telling this object stories through objects are actually my passion. And now I'm really focusing on how does this the literatures of design going. And in this, for this presentation, I will start with 3 questions. Have you ever experienced the darkness, like maybe during the night when you get up from your bed to go to the toilet, or imagine that situation. Think about living in a darkness, like what is the dream like if you can't see? Think about it. And for question 2 is how do you understand transparency when you can't see? Yeah, it's this is a very hard topic for people who can't see to understand, because something tangible but transparent means that you can look through. I mean, there's a confliction. And for question 3 is, how do you deal with the loss once you know that you won't see or you are losing your vision? That is the main source of your of taking informations in your life. How do you deal with it, this loss? So from these 3 questions, it actually set up the tone of my project I'm going to presenting now. It's a series of cooking projects designed for the visually impaired people to cook independently. And the feature of this project is that this project is designed not really by vision or navigated by vision, but by the sense of touch, your haptic sense. Why cooking? Cooking or eating as something most fundamental task that we have to deal with every day. But on the other hand, it was one of the biggest barriers for the visually impaired people to be independent in life. And there are so many risks in the kitchen that scares them or dangerous for them. So through this project, I'm exploring another haptic way of navigation for them to cook independently and safely and also confidently. So I'm going to play a small video to introduce about the details of this project and how does it work.
I don't cook really. I used to cook a lot. What I think is fascinating is that cooking is really about a multi-sensory experience, because you smell the ingredients, you listen to the sound of the water and the flame, the sense of touch. The way you're able to hold a knife and the way it feels in your hand approves the way you cut, first of all, but also the connection to the food itself. Tactile information, haptic information, is something underdeveloped. It is another layer which has a lot of influence on the user. Getting information by feeling it. If you read a language, you use vision in order to get information, or if you hear a sound. But as we speak, I'm touching around me. I feel the weight, I feel the temperature, I feel the shape. All in all, a fascinating way cooking from a multi-sensory point of view.
Yeah. So as you can see that these cooking tools actually dealing with the four of the major challenges in the cooking process is that how to cut on the surface and how to use a knife and how to measure some liquid and how to prevent the burn from the heat. And without vision, actually, this is something very challenging to do. And also one of the things that if you think about it, to cook with your eye closed, how can you navigate around safely? And so by dealing with these major questions or challenges, I come up with four solutions regards to these four situations. The first one is a cutting board that has sections around it. And it's in the middle area that you can cut your food, and the cutted pieces will fall into the groove that you can collect it in one way, like a round circle, that naturally to collect it like that by the gesture of your finger. And there's a space below the cutting board that you can slice your knife in once you finish cutting, and it will prevent the hurt from the blade. Also, of course, the shape will keep everything on the cutting board. And the second one, it's a knife. Why in this piece, actually, in this shape, the small tips I learned from the research is that they usually use a rather small blade to have a very good control and a very sharp one, a metal one actually. But there's actually on the market there's a plastic knives as assisting tools for blunt cooking. But actually, this blunt plastic knife is more dangerous than the blade because it's sharp, but it's less controllable than the metal knife. If you are it's very designed in a good shape and good control, so it's actually suggests a better user experience, and it's a better performance. And this knife is designed with a very short handle that you can have to suggest a very close hold on the blade, and it's a very heavy knife. And it's usually like 3 to 5 times heavier than normal knife. It's metal casted, one piece. So it's the weight also helps the chopping gesture. And the next one is measuring. And what they do is that they usually put the finger into the measuring cups to know how much liquid that they need. Otherwise, it's very dangerous. Otherwise it's very hard. And so inspired by this touch, the sense of touch, I'm coming up with this a little bit contradictory solutions that making holes on the container. But actually, it's really about communicating this idea about touch for cooking. Because they put like a flute, they put fingers on the holes, they will feel how much water inside. There's two versions of the cup. The one is holding in the image. It's only for 1 cup measuring. It's 250 milliliter, and the longer one is divided into 3 holes that you have a quarter cups, half cup, and 1 cup. So one is for general measurement. Another one is more for accurate measurement. The next one is a pan lid made of wood that also in the shape of a container. So the wood has a very low conductivity. It will always keep friendly to touch rather than a glass or a metal lid. And the container also will keep your ingredients and keep the moisture and the warmth. So that's basically how I deal with these 4 solutions for problems. And all this research starts from actually quite randomly. It's my research about sound scales, how to navigate in the city. And then I accidentally met this lady. Her name is Patricia. She worked in a police station for an administration job. And so basically she showed me how she moved in the city, how she lived, and then how she invited me to her house for a meal, and she's cooked for us. So that's how everything starts. And I realized that there's a world that can be saw from a totally another perspective. And I will just show you some clips of the process of this research. This is how she really showed at the first day. She showed me how she navigates in the train station, how she go down to the escalator by herself. She can take trains to other city. She feel also the force and also the sound, so she can walk freely by herself. Also, she cycle with her boyfriend. Yeah, she told me that cycle is a kind of something very extraordinary experience for her. Is that she experienced the wind, the sound, also smell in a rather faster pace and speed. It feels like she's a part of the wind or something. She told me, and then she took me to her house for a meal. And this is how she cut garlic. She cut everything on a plate to keep everything in. But she told me that it's not so nice to cut a plate because it's a very hard, slippery surface. But she don't have a better choice. And this is how she use how she cook some chicken. It looks dangerous, but
sometimes you have to look with a small fingertip if everything is as you like it. So
she put things in sections, so she know where it is, and she can feel them.
What if your fingertips touched the
bottom? How cooked the food is. And I asked her, have she ever touched the pan bottom and burned? She said, no, I just did it. So yeah. And this is how she measure milk. She make a cappuccino for me. I was a bit doubting at the moment, but she did it, so it was a bit surprising. Yeah, this is a prototype I did at the moment for the first phase of research. If you try it. Yeah. Also, after that, I start to experience to close my eyes for a day, or to fold it, to shop, to go to the supermarket to shopping, and also cooking something by myself. It was very hard at the moment. I bumped in so many things, and I can't recognize in between pears and apples at the beginning, but gradually I know so. And yeah, then I'm going to tell a little bit is that the making process, just quickly to show that why is this shape and why, how it's been made during by myself during Corona time. Yeah, so this is the design process of the knife from a paper model into the final shape gradually, and then a casted aluminum prototype. It's a bit like this. That's a rough cast, sand mold casting. And then this is the final making process. It's the stainless steel casting. It used losing wax technique. but it's a rather high precision because the wax was casted from a CNC molded aluminum mold, and then it casted using this losing wax technique, like how you make cast jewelry to cast this knife. Because this knife has many small details in the curvatures, so it needs a bit more precision. And these are the cutting board I made myself. It's on the wood lathe and also the pen lathe with the different versions. Yeah, you can have this is the brief view of the selected process. The left are pen lathe, the cutting board, and also the knife. Above is the cups. So after these, of course, we have to answer our questions. Are these things work or not? So of course, I also want to know. So I tested with the support of Culture Eindhoven and VCU. VCU is an organization specialized in helping visually impaired people to rehabilitate into back to daily life. They are specialized in trainings and education and knowledge and consultation. And they organized a workshop for me from their clients. And they come together to test out all these products that I made. And it's very fascinating to see how they perceive these products, how they see it, how they feel about it. And their fingers has a lot of information. The finger feels like their eyes. They really feel every corner of it. It tells the good part of it, where need to be improved. Yeah. The one detail I realized when they touch all the things is the noise. Because for us, we rarely actually pay attention to touch and put less force on searching the surface, but they really touch every part, every corner of the object. So the sound of touch actually is extra loud for me at that moment. It takes me a lot of attention to see how they really feel by their hands. And then at that moment, I realized, okay, these things are working for them. Because they really like the products, and they really try it. Actually, they didn't really ask my permission. In fact, they can try, but they put water in, they drink it. Yeah, that's the process of the project and what it is. And now it's like I'm a graduate half year already, and I'm doing this next step for this project. And the next step is a collaborative project I did with another designer, and the theme is called Haptic Aesthetics. What it does is that we're creating a new way of creating aesthetics by the sense of touch. It's also a kind of multi-sensory way of creating a well-being, improve the well-being. We all say, oh, something looks beautiful, something looks good. Yeah, it feels good. Okay, it feels good doesn't mean that it only visually presentable, but also, multi-sensory experience is also very comfortable or aesthetical, I can say, quoted aesthetical, or beautiful. So, if I really write it down as this theme or this design methodology, I will say haptic aesthetics is an innovative, sensational, inclusive design method exploring designs and creating new aesthetics from a non-visual perspective by using this haptic sense. And this project is collaborating with a designer who lost his vision during his studies. His name is Sim Loher, and he did a project about, in his graduation work, it's called Emotional Whisper. It's a device for himself to recognize facial eye contact and facial expression. It's a AI apps inside that can recognize face and translate the information into a vibration. And maybe some people already see that he presented on the King's Day to the Dutch king and the queen. And actually, the goal of this new design methodology we were trying to do is to make design in a methodological way, more accessible for the visually impaired, and also bring the understandings from the mass audiences to understand their perspective. The third is that to also a benefit for us to have a more perspective to think about well-being. How can we improve it in another way? And also the fourth is that how to really open up this inclusiveness of participating and appreciating design. And we are really in the trend of being like, also we feel like we need to be more inclusive in our either life or society or design fields. But actually this is what we coming up as a design methodology for the future. And the fifth one is also I think it's also very necessary for now, is to demonstrate a very brave and pragmatic attitude of collaborations and empathy, of course. And what we do with this thing, I talked so much about it, and we didn't, at this moment, we see the best potential of this design methodology, this haptic aesthetics, or is being applied in design education, because it really like encourage, stimulates this intuitions of exploring or this your own feelings about an object. It will really help the students to trust their own gut feelings, to design something that's not really being framed into design categories or design frameworks, but they have an extra lens to see their intuitions in a rather rational and a contributive way. And we did a workshop together. Me and Simon, we did Simon Docher, we did a workshop in Artes, University of Arts, in January to train the students, to test out our theories, if it's working or not. What we do is that we give the assignment for them. We give 2 assignments. First assignment is to ask them to live without their eyes. Actually, they folded their eyes for a day to experience their this non-visual point of non-visual life, actually. And the second, we ask them to design something for their teammates. We team up them 2 together, so they design for each other's a fear and for each other's challenge. Because the only thing, the one of the biggest, the loudest feedback I heard from them is this uncomfortness and also fear. But actually, that's this disadvantage is something they actually experienced. Actually, that's a core that we're trying to make it louder through this process. And the students come up with many different forms of results. Some music students make a song. Actually, they make a rap. Some students from the fine art, they make drawings or make a poetry. Or some also they're like interior students making other things. And I would like to end my presentation with a poetry wrote by a student from the fine art and teaching background. She talked about fear, so how she experienced about this fear. I think it will be a very nice message for everyone from this presentation. Fear is a curious thing. It withholds me from acting, but makes me act up. Fear is a curious thing. A space so familiar became fearful without sight. It seemed bigger but smaller, worse than before. Don't know where to go, or how to close this door. Close my fearful mind, just do and discover, and hope the room will be kind. Shapes give me direction, give me all the edges. You have got hard edges to guide me to where I'm not. A space so familiar became fearful without sight. My action now, imperfect. I'd rather have perfection fear of again, losing my direction. Guide me through my process, leave my sight, take my fright. Give me sight to see the perfection that doesn't have to be. So, yeah. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this presentation. There will be a Q&A after this, so you're most welcome to join and ask questions.
Hey, you're still here. So you like the video. If you want, subscribe and click the bell.